The courageous black women who integrated professional wrestling in the 1950s broke many barriers and overcame a lot of prejudice. Their accomplishments are especially significant, considering that they were wrestling women of other races and even appeared on the same bills with white men. The lady wrestlers broke down gender and racial boundaries before the feminist movement gained momentum and before the civil rights movement took off. 2023 marks the 60th anniversary of the March on Washington, and in light of this milestone, I want to highlight some of the accomplishments of the Black women wrestlers and the challenges they overcame. Black women wrestlers were athletes before Title IX went into effect. Title IX expanded the rights of women and girls to participate in sports. The Black lady wrestlers were wrestling at a time when a lot of women didn't work outside the home. Black women, however, often worked outside the home out of economic necessity. But before the civil rights movement, many Black women were relegated to work as domestics and other low-paying jobs. And in the 1950s and 60s, very few working women of any race held jobs that enabled them to travel outside their hometown, let alone internationally. But the Black lady wrestlers got to see the world. These women wrestled at a time when women couldn't even get a mortgage in their own name or a credit card without their husband's approval. The main obstacle that the Black women wrestlers faced was discrimination and Jim Crow segregation, especially when they wrestled in the Deep South. When traveling to wrestling matches, the women often had to drive through sundown towns, which were towns that threatened violent retribution against Negroes, as they were called at the time, if they were caught in the town after sundown. Even in broad daylight, the women had to go in the back door of restaurants just to get something to eat. They had to stay in segregated hotels. They were threatened by groups like the Ku Klux Klan and white citizens' councils. Like all African Americans at the time, they were treated like second-class citizens. There were so many indignities that the women overcame. The documentary Lady Wrestler chronicles the accomplishments of these brave women. In this clip from the documentary, Ethel Johnson, the first Black women's world wrestling champion, talks about the challenges that she faced, along with her sisters Babs Wingo and Marva Scott, who were also trailblazing wrestlers, and their contemporaries.
I remember the places down south that we went. It was horrible because you working 2 and 3 times a day because they'd have a white show and a black show, where they had auditoriums where Black people couldn't come, Yet there were white tickets being sold to white people to come watch Black people.
Now here's a clip with Ramona Isbell, another wrestling pioneer, talking about the segregation that she and her peers overcame.
We had segregated dressing rooms and when we first started out, and we had restrooms where, you drive along the highway and you have to eat. This is in the United States of America. You had to go into the kitchens, go in the back door in the kitchen and get your food, or the guys would have to bring your food out to you because you weren't allowed to go into the restaurants. When we traveled a lot in the United States, we had to go in the areas where there were people that had rooming houses that we had to stay with the rooming houses.
The Black lady wrestlers were true trailblazers. They gained fame in a male-dominated field long before the historic March on Washington. In honor of the 60th anniversary of the March on Washington, this is a clip of a newsreel documenting the historic event. This clip captures the era and sheds light on how much African Americans overcame and continue to battle in the fight for equality.
All I had was dreams to reach out of delegation. The location for the meeting with Senator Ribicoff has been changed to the Red Cross tent, which is to my left. 11 o'clock, Senator Ribicoff will meet the Connecticut delegation at the Red Cross tent.
How many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. We'd like to sing a song. I had a hammer in the morning, had a hammer in the evening, all over this land. Had a hammer on danger, had a hammer on warning, had a hammer on love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land.
Our requesting the demonstrators immediately in front of us. together. We're going to sing together. We're going to stay together. We're going to moan together. We're going to groan together. And after a while, we'll say, freedom, freedom, freedom now.
There grows a tree in paradise, and the pilgrims call it a tree of life. All your trials, Lord, soon be over. All your trials, Lord, soon be over.
I give you Mr. Burt Lancaster.
All Americans traveling no matter where in the world today are in the position of ambassadors and are very often made bitterly aware of our country's reputation. It is not easy to be an American abroad, nor is it easy to make coherent to those who are not Americans the nature and the meaning of our struggle. And we are therefore forever indebted to those Americans represented by the March on Washington movement for giving us so stunning an example of what America aspires to become, and for helping us to redefine in the middle of this dangerous century what is meant by the American Revolution. We recognize that it is not only in America that the battle for freedom and dignity of peoples is being waged. The struggle toward freedom on the part of the previously subjugated is occurring in capitals and villages all over the world. It is on our awareness of what this struggle means and in the degree of our dedication to it that our futures and the future of the world depend.
Spread the message far and near. The time is now. The place is here. The acknowledged champion of civil rights in America, Mr. Roy Wilkins, Executive Secretary, National Association for the Advancement of Freedom.
I want some of you to help me win a bet. I want everybody out here in the open to keep quiet. And I want to hear a yell and a thunder from all those people who are out there under the trees. Let's hear you. there's one of them in the tree. Let us bow our heads in prayer. God of history and of all mankind, God of Abraham and Moses, Amos and Isaiah, Jesus and Paul, God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, pour out thy benediction upon the United States of America. Pour it out upon President Kennedy.
However, we know that this is not going. We believe that it's going to have its effect on the image of our country all over the world, because it will indicate that not only are Negroes struggling to achieve a transition from second-class to first-class citizenship, but that our white brothers and sisters are marching arm in arm with the Negro citizens of the country for the purpose of achieving this objective. And consequently, this is and has been a great American experience. I think it...
Roman Catholic Group Interracial Commission, which was represented here, that we, I think, proved that our judgment was right. The thing we wanted to do was to get in behind the leadership of the Negro community. Clearly, the religious leader of this occasion was Martin Luther King, and we are proud to have served behind and strengthening the witness that he's been carrying. The other thing is that we did produce a non-segregated march.
Find the answers in the light of reason. Can we be certain that the apostles of hatred will not search for the answers in the darkness of night? And I believe that the real significance of what we have started here today is that we have laid the groundwork for the building of a functioning, broad coalition of Americans from all walks of life, from all points of view, from all races and creeds and color, who can carry on not only the common struggle to achieve an effective and meaningful civil rights legislation, but who can do this practical work, the day-to-day job of fighting discrimination in education, in housing, in employment, in public accommodations. And I think this is the true significance of what we have started today.
Pleasure now to present the moral leader of our nation, one who has conducted a massive moral campaign in the southern area of the nation against the citadel of racism, Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
Thank you, Mr. Randolph. I would simply like to say that I think this has been one of the great days of America. And I think this march will go down as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, demonstrations for freedom and human dignity ever held in the United States.
If you like this video, please leave a comment, share it, and subscribe to my channel.